Republican candidates clash today over securing our border. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie takes a jab at Donald Trump's immigration plan. He says there's no way Mexico will pay for a wall along its border with the U.S.
And this is not a negotiation of a real estate deal, okay? This is international diplomacy, and it's different,
Christie suggests more intelligence agents should work more closely with the Border Patrol. He also says the U.S. should use drones and electronics to watch troublesome sections along the border. Theresa Brown is Director of Immigration Policy at the Bipartisan Policy Center. So, Theresa, how much campaign focus is on this issue of immigration at this point, and will we see it continue during the campaign?
Well, I think different candidates either include it or don't in their stump speeches, but certainly at this point, every time they do a press interview, somebody is asking them about it. Donald Trump has made a lot of news about immigration in his campaign so far, but actually Mrs. Clinton, when she first announced her campaign, immediately started talking about immigration as well. So both the Democrats and the Republicans have immigration on their mind, and it's going to continue. Now,
you have researched immigration reform extensively.
Yes.
What works? What doesn't work?
Well, when it comes to enforcement, that's one of the key issues. We don't necessarily know what works because we don't really have good measures to say so. We certainly have invested a lot in border security and immigration enforcement in the last 10 years. Millions of dollars at the border, lots of infrastructure, tripling the number of Border Patrol, advanced technology, sensors, drones, other things like that. But what we haven't done is said how well has that done for us. We did a report at Bipartisan Policy Center early this year that talked about the need for better metrics. So what you have is you have people who say the border is wide open, it's not secure in spite of all that investment, and other people who say it's more secure than ever. We need to find out the truth, and we need the government to tell us the truth about the numbers.
Well, I'm reminded of President Reagan in Berlin saying, tear down this wall. And now you have Donald Trump saying, put up a wall.
Yeah.
Is that practical to wall the border between the U.S. and Mexico?
Well, I would say in some senses, practicality is not the point. The point is that people want to see a better effort at enforcement at the U.S.-Mexico border. We do have walls and fencing at various parts of the border, and the government has chosen where it seems most effective to put walls, where it's more effective to use other types of preventive measures. And every part of the border is different. Parts of it are broad stretches of desert with deep, deep canyons. You have the Rio Grande Valley and the Big Bend, which is, a river with cliffs on one side. And then you have parts of it which are just literally cities right next door to each other with a fence in between. So I would say there's no single answer that's going to be the right answer all across the border.
So you have experience with the Border Patrol, don't you?
I worked at Department of Homeland Security for 6.5 years, both at U.S. Customs and Border Protection with the Border Patrol and with DHS headquarters, yes.
What are the main misconceptions that we as Americans have about border security?
Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that border security happens right at the border. A lot of what we do that's about border security doesn't happen at the border. It is about, as Governor Christie said, our cooperation with our partners in Canada and Mexico. It is about the work that we do at, for example, our 300 ports of entry at airports in the United States. That's border security also. And when we're talking about immigration, what we do inside the country also has an impact. So border security is not just at the border.
Well, there's certainly a lot of things to discuss, and I know that they will be brought up repeatedly throughout the campaign. And thank you so much for the clarification and sharing your experience with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Theresa Brown, Director of Immigration Policy for the Bipartisan Policy Center.